This is Chris the Idaho Painter here on Paint Live TV. Today I'm going to show you how I go about painting a fence fast and efficient. This is day 2. I did day 1, which was pressure washing the fence. If you want to see that video, go check that out after this video. But I'm going to paint this fence, not this fence, but another fence, fast and efficiently, so stay tuned for this video. So we're going to start getting ready to stain this fence here. It's been several days. It's all dry now. Had to wait more than one day because we had other jobs going on, but we're going to begin the staining process. I'm going to be using a tip extension, 18-inch extension, because I don't want to be close to the fence when I'm staining. I'm going to try out using a 310 tip. This is a very unusual fence because it's got a big gap in between pickets, and so we're overspray could be an issue, but I'll show you some tips and tricks when dealing with that. I did this is a common area right here. We've got common area sprinklers, and I have no idea when they'll kick on. So I covered each one of the sprinklers heads with a bucket. So if they do kick on, we don't have ourselves a big mess. So got that taken care of. I'm going to be using Woodscape's solid color stain here, and the color is cabin brown. But I'm going to be using it at really low pressure because I'm just using it to apply the stain. I'm going to be back brushing it. I could just take a bucket and a brush and a roller and roll this, but using an airless sprayer, it's going to apply it significantly faster. So we're going to get this thing all set up and ready to go here. So I got the sprayer set up. It's over 2,000 PSI. I'm gonna definitely lower the pressure down significantly. I wanna make sure I got a seat inside there. So again, I got a 310 tip. It doesn't matter. You'd best to probably not use a new tip on something like this because you don't need a fine finish. You just wanna control overspray. So like a blown out 310 is not a bad thing. Turn my pressure down, way down. It's looking good right there. I've got a stain brush. I'm just going to be using a block stain brush. Got a Worcester Bravo stainer here I'll be using today to do the staining, or actually the back brushing. Now this is a critical part in the stain process is to actually back brush your stain. If you don't back brush it, your fence, it's not going to last very long at all. If you want this thing to last for years, you got to get a lot of stain on and back brush it right away before it actually dries. You want to get it to penetrate while it's wet and saturated, so the back brushing is very important. I'm going to be using a respirator. I got to grab my RZ respirator once I get this set up, and I'm going to get a cardboard shield holder I'll show you to help control overspray. But this is what it looks like right here, spray and back brush. We get a mask and we're gonna get going here. Few little tips, obviously overspray can be an issue, if you're not spraying properly, but what I got these big gaps, and what I'm trying to do with these pickets is I got my tip angled and keeping the tip close enough to the picket where I'm not getting a lot of overspray going back off to the sides of the pickets, but I also want to get these edges, spray those edges. So, and then another thing is you want to have enough stain to be able to back brush, that it's wet, that you can back brush, but then not so much that you're throwing tons of overspray, back on the other side of your fence. So there's just kind of this fine line of controlling overspray and getting this proper amount of product on the fence. So this is a water-based coating, and water-based coatings don't carry like an oil-based coating will pick up in a very, very slight breeze and carry for hundreds of yards. This stuff is water-based, it falls to the ground quickly, and so overspray is not an issue if you keep your pressure down, use a small enough tip, and you can see I'm keeping my gun angled down the side of the fence this way so it's hitting all the other pickets and not just shooting straight out, you know, in the open area. I got all this is common grounds on the other side of me. There's nothing to worry about. It's a water-based product, a warm day. It's not going to carry very far, so I don't have to worry about cars all over the neighborhood. If it was an oil-based stain, that's a whole different ball game. Oil-based stain can pick up and even no wind and just carry in the air for a long ways. Oil-based stains are just, I never use them on fences. They're too high risk, you know, with overspray. But you can see how fast this goes with a sprayer, how easy it is to get all the edges, and you're not creating drips, and it's just a very fast process. So once again, if you don't put enough on, you won't have anything to back brush. You'll see it'll be just really dry. So you want to make sure you got enough to back brush, and I can go back, look at it, make sure I've got everything hit, and then move on to my next section. Spraying makes the process extremely fast. And I'm just going like, I'm taking like 3 or 4 pickets at a time. I'm doing one edge and the face, and then I'm going back and doing the other edge and the other face, or the face again, and then I'm back brushing it before it completely soaks in and I don't have anything to back brush. You definitely don't have to worry about runs because you're back brushing your product in. It's better to have too much than not enough ultimately. Your fence won't look like a professional did it, and it won't last very long either. So you can always go back and put more on if you didn't, but if you got too much, you could just brush out those runs. You want to definitely spray underneath get it angled up underneath there. So I got my gun angled at like a 45-degree angle, trying to minimize the amount of overspray going off to the side, keeping it on the face, but I do want to get that edge. Want to get the tops and the bottom, then quickly back brush. Today's a warm day, not a hot day. If it is like really hot, it's so ideal to have somebody back brushing for you, but you know, I'm working alone, don't have that luxury, so just don't get too far ahead of yourself. You know, I'm in the shade, so also it's not drying too fast also because I'm in the shade. I understand the fears and the apprehension towards airless spraying because of overspray, but once again, you know, doing it the right way, you're not going to have overspray. I've been painting professionally for over 20 years and I've never had an overspray claim, you know, once in my entire career. Now, I do understand I have kind of the ideal climate for painting. We got dry air, it's not humid here. Dry air, which water-based paints have a tendency to, the droplets have a tendency to dry before they even land on any surfaces. So it's not like I'm not on the coast where it's really humid, where paint can carry a lot farther. The higher the humidity, the longer it's going to take for the paint to dry, and the more likelihood you're going to have overspray. So you just got to really take in consideration, you know, where you live, your conditions, and understand the limitations of your conditions. See, I'm on my third gallon already. You can see if you're doing a fence properly, it takes quite a bit of stain to get a fence to look like a professional did it. So that's one of the things when people get fence bids from me, they're usually shocked how much the price is. They don't realize how much stain it actually takes to stain a fence and get it to look even and get 100% coverage. Fences are typically one coat. This is one coat, sprayed and back brushed. Fences, if you don't want to get the coating on too thick, otherwise it can end up peeling like a paint. A stain actually absorbs into the wood, where a paint creates a top coat on the wood. And we don't want to have so much stain that we're creating a top coat. So we're not going to go back over this and do it a second coat. It's just one coat. You want it to look natural, not like a big thick coating over the top. And that's the difference between stains and paints is, you know, stains are designed, they're self-priming, go right into the wood, absorb, stain the wood, where paints just create a top coat film on top of the wood. And if you're to paint a fence, you would have to oil prime it, and oil priming is really nasty, and an oil primer is not nearly as good. Oil priming and painting is not nearly as good as just staining with a solid color stain. spray right on metal. You can spray it on gutters. It's one of the nice things if your house is a wood house and it's got gutters. You can use woodscapes to paint your gutters, spray them, and it'll match the wood siding instead of having shiny gutters if you didn't want shiny gutters. So just another one of the benefits to using woodscapes versus a paint. Paint, you would have to prime your gutters or prime the metal. So I do have getting down to the last bit of paint. I got a sprayer saver that I'm going to be using. I really like this product for tilting my cans back so I don't suck air when I get down to the end. So I'm going to set these cans in here to empty out. Then I'll turn my, you'll see how your bucket just sits right in the sprayer saver and it keeps your bucket tilted back at an angle. That way your intake tube is all the way down and the rest of your stain. Really cool little device. It's one of the products that's in on my store under the For Painters by Painters. It's created by a painter, and it's a really cool product made of durable plastic that's not going to break. You can stomp on the thing all you want. It's extremely durable. So great product, must have accessory if you're doing airless spraying. All right, our fence is all done and complete. I think I'm off to see how long it's taken me. It's taken me, to do this fence. It's been about an hour and 35 minutes to do this fence, and that's filming and everything, doing this whole thing, spraying and back brushing it. If you got any questions or comments, what it took to do this fence, or what you need to do your fence, leave it in the comment section down below. And all the tools and accessories that we've been using in this video, a lot of them you can find them right at our store at Paint Life Supply. Go to idahopainter.com and you can find them. So we used the Titan 410 sprayer. We ended up spraying it, a really low pressure, about 800 PSI with a 310 tip, sprayed and back brush, one coat. If you've enjoyed the video, Please give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. That way you get notified every time we come out with a new video. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Staining a fence with solid color stain, making it look brand new again. Out.